All right, so what's up, world? So I guess I'm doing another video. The subject today is simple. What is the creator? What is God? Well, you have to understand this. God is beyond this realm. The creator is like, it's beyond this realm. It created this realm. So therefore, it's not subjugated to everything about this realm so that, that like we are. We're subjugated to, having to heal ourselves if we hurt ourselves, letting a wound heal. Or we're subjugating to actually having to speak with words, even though so this is the thing. We have a God particle inside of us. So if you can get with your God particle enough, you can basically learn how to telepathically transfer information. You can transmute information without saying a word. This is some of the ancient knowledge, some of the ancient stuff that we used to be able to do. And some people, I believe, to this day, still, obtain such, such a grasp on the universe. They still have that ability to basically speak without even speaking any words, systematically. They can systematically talk without saying anything. Telepathic, powers or whatever. So that's something I do believe still exists, and in some inferences they have, or some situations that actually happens organically to this day. So you could be thinking the same thought as somebody else, and you guys could say it at the same time, and that becomes a wave of energy, basically, that you felt that person's wave and they felt yours. There's a connection between the universe itself. So that indeed can happen. It's not something that's foreign. It might be foreign to everyday, our everyday usage. You can't really, it's not going to happen like that every time, because I believe, in my opinion, like I always say, this is just my opinion. This is not something I'm saying that's got to be factual for every living person on fucking earth. I believe that, chemtrails and certain things kind of fuck that up. So we can't really, and then the universe itself, the organicness of the universe, what happened and what transpired in the past basically changed the paradigm. So stuff is different now since we live in America. We always lived in this hemisphere, but since we live here, as it's called America, and certain trees have been taken away from us and there's more buildings around, we're further away from so-called nature. Those abilities are kind of basically not subjugated, but they're basically condemned, taken away from you, and you're not really able to use them as well as you were before because of certain things, like I just pointed out. It's different now. But back to the initial point, you're not going to fully understand what the creator is because of the fact that you're a human living in a human body trying to understand a being or an entity that is beyond this place, or a collective conglomerate of deities. You get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So because listen, there are many versions of trying to understand God. Just to sit back and say God is such a generalized understanding, or a generalized gathering of information, that you can't really just say God. That's in a general sense. Could be gods, could be multiple gods that do things, could be the old deity that we used to be called God, even though it's basically all the same thing if you want to get down to it. You know what I'm saying? It's basically the same. It's basically the same deity or the same group of deities that we've been trying to understand. We've been trying to understand this thing for millions and billions of years. Whatever it is that put all of this down here, that put life down here with the water and and the fire and the stones at the beach and the waves of the ocean, like all of that shit is not, like, if you think about it, something put that down here in synchronicity with our synchronized hearts. and our synchronized minds and our synchronized soul that is synchronized specifically for that. Now, it could have gave you a couple less veins in the heart and it could still work the same. It's the creator. It could do that. It doesn't, it's not like, it's like young Pharaoh said, he was like, something new to make it, make your heart like this and this many, but it could have made it all and still made it work the same way that it works now. It just chose to make it like that from that design. Now, why is it designed like that specifically? Certain answers, like you can try to study all you want, basically. In this galaxy, you can try to study all you want. You can try to learn everything you can learn about this place. You won't as a human. You won't. You're designed only to obtain enough knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Now, perhaps you can exceed that and go beyond that, but you're not. With certain things, you're never going to understand as a human. And this is basically the main thing I want to say in this video is you're not going to be able to understand everything as a human. It's like a broom coming to life for the first time, and it's looking up at me and it's trying to understand the properties that I have. And I continue to advance and do other things, and the broom, which is in my kitchen, is looking at me trying to understand me. That's a very vague explanation for how we will never truly understand what the creator is as a human, because your mind and spirit, well, not your spirit is condemned enough not to understand it, and your mind is designed enough not to get it. That's how it is. Everybody think that they have, they have their own hypothesis on how this and that became light and how this and that became darkness and what is darkness and what is light and how, this was orchestrated or how they did this or how history happened on that. Not to say don't try to understand it, but there's so many variations of basically the same thing and the same, there's so many different variations on life itself and the and basically the sequence of things. You know what I mean? Like, you'll never really know unless you were there. It's like an argument that that your mom and your dad have. You could talk to your mom and your dad, and they'll have two different stories of the same situation. Imagine that about a story that happened 500 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And you're now doing knowledge on it now, and you think you know everything about it. When we live in the age of knowledge, yes, it's the time of Aquarius, maybe so, or we're approaching that era, but still there's so much knowledge that it can be misinterpreted. You know what I'm saying? It could be a falsehood of what really happened. It can be a misrepresentation of what is really going on. There's so many different variations of that shit. So you got to be careful when it comes to the knowledge, but basically what God, what is God? I can't really get into everything right now. I got to go pick up this money. But that's my thoughts on what God is at this point. If you like what I'm saying, subscribe. I'm going to do a part 2 to this video. Probably, maybe, I don't even know. Maybe later on today, I might continue this video and she can just keep going with it. You feel me? But, shit, I'll do the part 2 soon. So if you like what I'm saying, subscribe. I would really fucking appreciate that shit. Like the video. If you don't like what I'm saying, leave a thumb down, nigga. Do whatever the fuck you got to do. And y'all stay safe out there, man. Love.